At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right. Let's get the sound in here. I don't know that I've ever owned or sat in a squeakier chair in my life. I swear. Get a swig of the water here before we get going. Gonna get a swig. Little swigster. Gonna get a little swigster here. Oh, I've already had my coffee. Now I'm drinking the agua. Oh, this stupid loud chair. 3, 2, 1. Yo, welcome. What's going on? I hope you guys have had a good week so far. Monday's show was straight up just awesome. Monday's show did really well. And yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, doing your thing, being a part of chat. Patreon supporters, of course, sponsors. We'll get to them in just a second. Sneaking into the stream in class. Ty, go Hogs, says Flying Blind. The Hog president 1991. Yo, Ty, what's up, man? Tonka Todd, hit the like button with the atomic knee lift and get ready to take on them hunker down hairy dogs. I like that. I like that a lot. Live from Las Vegas, fire Mark Curls, is Travis Ford. What's up, Travis? Speaking of sponsors, how's it going, man? Great Value Water is not that bad. No, they're not a sponsor. Of course they're not. But you have to clarify that. You have to clarify who is and isn't sponsors. I have to be careful. Someone, actually a relative of mine, my brother-in-law, told me a while back, he's like, I miss when you used to drink beer on the shows, drinking the local stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but first off, YouTube's cracking down on stuff. And I also have now, and of course we didn't have this conversation then because I didn't have sponsors, but now it's like, I got to be careful. All right, Mark Curl, P sitting down. The Mark Curl stuff's pretty great. My favorite so far, And he's been helping me out actually with getting some stuff done with Pig Trail. Will Watkins on Twitter. I want to read that really quick. I thought that was pretty clever. Hang on. Mark Carls is Lord Voldemort. He's Lord. All right. Maybe I watched all the Harry Potter movies. I don't know. But that was a good one. Good morning, Ty and everyone. F5 that like button. F5 it. Subscribe. Ton of new subscribers. I'm telling you, man, when the Hogs are winning and you're just producing quality content, when the Hogs are winning, people want to be a part of it. They want to watch. They want to listen. They want to consume the Razorback content. Who wouldn't? It's easier when you're winning. It's easier to watch and listen and to want to be a part of it all when they're winning. And I get it. That's just the way things are. Living the life out here, ready to come home. Oh, so you are literally out in Vegas. Well, I'm going to do you a favor since you're in chat, and you've also helped me out too. You've helped me out a bunch, Travis. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the shout out for your company because you guys are rock stars as well. Not just because you're the first sponsors of the channel, but you're super helpful. Like the help, it's like just ask. Just asking people will help. And then you have special people, right? That will go out of their way and like, man, they'll make time for you. Like, hey, let's talk this over. Will Watkins is helping me out. I want to give them a shout out. Natural State Sports. I don't know if you guys are aware of them on Facebook or not. They're on Twitter. Yeah, they're on Twitter. Natural State Sports. They Steve Henson does some of the play-by-play for the local high schools. Dude, he does a good job. Like, he does a good job, man. Like, and I told Will that a while back in when we were talking in Facebook on Messenger. Like, Steve is legit. Like, I think he does good stuff, man. They're doing their best over there, and it shows. They're putting in the work. All right. Sponsor numero uno, Direct Service Overhead, who, again, I want to remind you guys, they do operate, and I actually meant to text you this, Travis, but I did have someone ask if you guys operate outside of Bryant, and so and I said yes, so, but they do operate out of Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. They'll replace and or repair your garage door. You can visit their website down below in the description box. There's a link provided for you there. And, if you've got any further questions, give them a call. Their phone number. I ought to paste their phone number in the description box, too. Also, of course, cannot forget, man, Stated Apparel. Waiting on my shirts. They're supposed to be in the mail, I think, soon. These guys sell the softest shirts. They're made right here in the state of Arkansas. Check out their entire inventory over at their link is also provided for you. Don't forget, you guys can go to the Discord. For those of you who are in our Discord, speaking of Discord, we're going to be answering some questions from there. The new thread feature is badass. I wish I could keep the threads up longer, but they go away after 24 hours. So I wish I'd keep them up there longer. We'll work on that. I think the maximum is a week, but you have to pay for it. See how they do you? But I'm glad it's there. But we're gonna go to that feature here in a little bit, or the links and all that are provided for you in Discord on the PTN sponsor page. The thread is also available there. But if you use the code all caps Ty Rocks, you get an additional 10% off over there. They sell national brands as well, such as Native and Southern Marsh clothing brands. Again, all links are provided for you. I may have to update the link in the description box. But it's in our Discord, and you'll be able to find it there. I don't know if that link works just yet. Let me actually, while I'm doing that, let me just give you guys the link just in case. I don't know if that link works. Where's the link? PTN sponsors. There we go. It's stated.me for those of you who are curious, but right there. Pachow. That is their link. And you know what? While we're at it, where's direct service? It's provided for you in the description box, but I can't find it. They're in here. There they are. It's a little longer. So we've got some big recruiting updates in this show. Nick Smith's supposed to commit tonight. He's picking up crystal balls. We'll talk about that and where he's projected on going. There you go. There's There they are. And then Travis, there's your number right there. Travis Ford gives you your number for direct service overhead. So links are in the chat. There you go. So Nick Smith's big news. Nick Smith is a big-time prospect. Arguably, I believe, on paper, will be the highest-rated commit Arkansas basketball's ever had. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But he's, number 8 in the country. He's a top 10 prospect. He's considered a one-and-done. That'll be a good get. I don't know this. I think he's calling the Hogs. He's picking up a lot of steam to Arkansas, crystal balls, and all that good stuff. Oh no, is Texas? Oh gosh, do we have Texas boy back in here? Arkansas fans never witnessed their team winning a championship. Well, look, when you come back and shit talk, like we're not here for that. Like, dude, you took your lashings last time you were here. Get over it. Arkansas spanked your ass. Get over it. But Nick Smith continues to pick up crystal balls. I think he had one again this morning to Arkansas. So yeah, he's a 5-star top 10 player in the country. He makes his decision tonight between 7 and 9 p.m. Assuming nothing's changed, he received yet again another crystal ball from Chris Fisher on 247. I think all signs point to him being a Razorback. That is a huge get for the Hogs. So shouldn't Texas boy be in school, or do they only go to the 6th grade? By the way, those are the requirements to go to UT. Just finish out 6th grade. Let's see. KJ's going to go off, depending if 100%. Talking about Eagles, talking about the Georgia game coming up. Scrolling up. Mr. T-Dub, can direct service come fix my garage door here in Cali? That's a good question. I don't think he operates out of California, Mr. T-Dub, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's willing to travel. He is out in Vegas after all. He's on vacation, I think. I don't know. Good morning, Ty. What's up, Hoyt? How you doing? Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you share the content. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Check out all the links. Go check out the sponsors. Really, really does mean a lot. And, of course, shout out to the Patreon supporters as well. Texas can just call Arkansas Dad or Sir, says Mike and Mary Hoggard. So, it's okay, man. You can go ahead and say Nick Smith will call the Hogs today. I give you permission, says Ben Strosity. I mean, look, these are 17, 18-year-old kids. We never, you don't know what you don't know. No one has told me that. I feel like he ends up being a Hog, though. And I think that he does. I think he ends up calling the Hogs. I think it's between Arkansas and Alabama. Don't forget to mention – no. We're getting there. Shaheed Mustafa. We're getting there, man. I've got it all. I've got a whole list here of stuff we got to talk about. Wednesday shows are, like I've said before, Wednesday shows are the toughest to prep for. They are hard. Thank God we had some information this morning. So we, of course, had the commit this morning, which was also awesome. Big-time prospect. Well, I say big-time. He's currently a 3-star out of Bentonville. Most of you know who I'm talking about already, but again, we're going to get to that in just a second. Kirby Smart says Darnell Washington, their tight end and defensive back, Tyke Smith, are going to be full go for Arkansas. I mean, of course. Like, I think that happened ahead of Texas. Didn't Texas get a couple guys back too? Not that mattered, but tonight on the Sam Pittman Show down the Catfish Hole, Trey Williams, who's on the cover of this show on the thumbnail, him and Devion Warren are going to be with Coach tonight, I believe. I think that's what Catfish Hole said on Twitter. So that's cool. If you guys get an opportunity, you should go. I've never been. If you've never been to Catfish Hole, number one, their hush puppies are like, there's nothing better. Their hush puppies, oh God. Like, yeah, they're great. They're phenomenal. They're the greatest thing. And everything I've ever had there is good. All their food's good. No, they are not a sponsor. So yeah, Adam Spencer. He's an editor at Saturday Down South News. He's the newsletter editor and writer for Saturday Down South. Has Sam Pittman at number 1 for his SEC Coach of the Year at the moment. Of course, that will change as the year goes on, but Adam Spencer really likes Arkansas, likes Sam Pittman. So, and then, as someone pointed out in chat, number 2 player in the state of Arkansas for the 2023 class, Joey Sua, a 6'5", 315-pound tackle, has committed to the Razorbacks. He's a California transplant. He plays for Bentonville. Hogs now have both of the top 2 prospects in the state of Arkansas committed for the 2023 class, and I think they're the only 2 players that are currently ranked. I'm not going to lie to you. At the moment, we'll see how things, we got a long ways to go. We've still got a little while to go. But the early indications are, and this is typically the case, the closer you get to that season that we're, when you're a couple of years out, you're going to add more players to that list. Looks pretty bare bones at the moment, but we'll see. We've still got 2022, the rest of 2021 to get there. So it's way too early to say that it's going to be a great or bad class. But right now they're both, one of them's a four-star, Easter, who's the tight end, and Joey Sua, who's he's unranked on 247, or maybe he's unranked on composite and he's ranked on 247, but he's a 3-star on one of them. Either their composite or the actual 247. The site has given him a rank. Are they better than walk-on hush puppies? Those are good. I heard that on ESPN Radio this morning. Exciting. Wait, what? What did you hear? And how can any kid with the name that close to Suey not sign with the Hogs? Who was the kid? There was a linebacker out of Texas whose last name was Arkansas. And he went to Rice or North Texas or something. What are the chances Easter becomes a 5-star? I don't know. I don't know. You got to go to these camps. You got to do really well at these camps. Catfish Hole customer service is insane, says Woo Pig Dustino. What's up, Woo Pig Dustino? How you doing, man? There are some whispers about Alabama. I think you're talking about Nick Smith. No doubt they can recruit. They're a different program. This obviously isn't Alabama basketball of old, right? Even Mike Anderson at Arkansas had some really good classes. Alabama's kind of, they've also had some good classes over the years, but they're new to this level of basketball that they're currently playing. Arkansas, it's been a while since they've been there, right? It's been, some of you weren't even alive the last time they made the Elite Eight. Actually, several of you weren't alive when the last time they made it that far in the tournament. But they're doing well. And Nate Oates, Alabama might. Who knows? I'm not saying, anything's possible. If you guys know anything about me, I don't live in the world of 100% certain. If you ever hear me say that, know that really what I mean is 99% certain. I don't live in the world of certainty. I don't live in the world of absolutes. I'm always, I don't know, maybe that's just because I'm from Arkansas. I'm always waiting on that other boot to drop, bad news. But it feels to me like he's, not just because of the crystal balls, it just sounds like he had a really good visit. When was that? That was Texas, wasn't it, when he was here for the Texas game? Sounds like he had an awesome trip, even though he didn't show many signs of emotion. I had a couple people point out they saw pictures and stuff of him online at the game, and he just didn't look happy. You got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. That's probably a little overwhelming for some of those kids, especially their first time in that kind of environment. I'm still disappointed in current performance this year, says no one. Yeah. But if you remember last year, the guy dropped balls then too. I don't think his body type, the physicality that he plays with, that's, he's not a receiving tight end. That's not what he is. He's just a blocker. He's caught a few balls this year, but yeah, he's not the guy you want to throw into the end zone in a tough catch scenario. When you propose to your wife, I'm not certain this will work, but what? What are you talking about? Kern needs pine tar. Oh, man. Georgia has the 94th red zone offense in the country. Yeah, we're going to, like I said, Friday's going to be our Georgia breakdown. Really excited for that show. Watched a little bit of them. Their only big win of the year, of course, was Clemson week 1. I think like I say with all week 1 matchups, you kind of have to take some of those with a grain of salt, but there's also some truth in it. And a good example of it, Oklahoma week 1, I really think that's who they are. I don't think they have I don't think they're a top 5 team in the country. I don't know that they're top 8. Right? And that week 1 kind of showed us that a little bit. But then you look at Rice and Arkansas. That game didn't mean shit. All right? Earmuffs for you minors in the chat and you that are, by the way, NSFW, heads up. I know we got some new people in here. But it doesn't mean jack shit for the Arkansas. I said it. Said what I said. Look at since then. Look at the second half of that game and look what happened. Maybe it did tell us a little bit of something. What happened in that second half was incredible. Uh-oh. I'm in here swearing, and we've got Methodist church members in chat. I apologize. We don't know how good Georgia is, just saying. Their only great win is against 2-2 Clemson, who lost to NC State, who lost to Mississippi State. I mean, look, when you go down the rabbit hole, like, you know, what matters is how you play on the field. That's what always matters. I'll always stand by that. How you play on the field is, and if you do it consistently enough, that's who you are. So, number 1 defense, but hasn't played an offense ranked better than 70th, says Woo Pig Dustino. No sweat, just truth. You said you don't live with certainty. He's just making a joke because proposing is typical. Oh, okay. Yeah, you got to point out what you're talking about, man. I'm trying to keep up with chat. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the recruit was slipping out some gas when they took the picture. I feel like SC was a better game to watch than Clemson. Yeah, so I don't watch all their games, by the way. Like what I do is typically I try to watch future opponents when I can on Saturdays live, and then week of I usually go back to either like a blowout, like the Vanderbilt game. I kind of want to see what they did. That game doesn't tell you much, but I kind of want to see what they did. Like if there's ever an example of what they do well, you look at games like Vanderbilt, and then if you want an example of maybe some of the things they didn't get right, you look at a game like Clemson. And Clemson is 2-2. They're barely ranked, man. Yeah, they got all this talent, but they've had some crazy turnover. I mean, and I'm not saying they're not for real. I'm not saying Georgia's not for real. Do not mistake what I'm saying. They, their defense is legit. I think their offense, there's some questions maybe here and there, but I think their offense is fine. JT Daniels was dealing with an injury, and most wide receivers hurt. So we have a Georgia fan in the house. What do you feel like is your biggest disadvantage? Like, what's the one thing you, as a Georgia fan, I'm just curious. I've been watching their 4 games on repeat since Shooter Rays Gaming. Georgia sucks. I definitely did not say that. They are good, but not sure. All right. Also, trying to look over here. We had something else. The Discord question of the day. Now, for those of you who are not in our Discord, yeah, I'm going to give you a link. I always do this every time we bring it up. I'm going to gripe about this until I'm blue in the face. I don't like how you can't just have a saved setting for how you want to send a link. You have to go in and copy it and all this. But there's our Discord link. Jeremiah Grant says, do you feel like we are still feeling the effects of the Woods transfer, or would you say that the next man has stepped up in Morris? You want to know what I mean? I'm glad you brought that up because that's a bullet point thing I wanted to talk about on Friday. But I'll say it now. I think, well, first off, it's been kind of receiver by committee that has stepped up in that second role. I don't want to go too far into that because I like saving the juicy stuff for Friday when you're talking about the, like, you know, kind of the pros and cons going in against Georgia. And that was a pro. That was something I was going to say that's been big for Arkansas. It's been kind of receiver by committee. And, like, if you look at everyone else combined, their numbers, I mean, Mike Woods, he had Mike Woods and Devion Warren last year who really filled in that role. Devion Warren got hurt. Mike Woods just took it over, and he got the majority of the catches. You didn't have anyone else. After Devion Warren went down, you didn't feel comfortable with anybody else. You know, Trey Knox just was Trey Knox. He wasn't, you know, as the year went on, we kept asking, what the hell's going on with Trey Knox? What is going on with Trey Knox? And we're still asking that question. And now they have him working with the tight ends. But, you know, so it's good to see. It's like it is next man up. I would say it's been next men up. It's been like the next set of guys up, like by committee. You know, everyone has had some form of an impact. And, yeah, Tyson Moore stands out. Keyshawn Jackson should have had a touchdown, but he got called back on a illegal man downfield inside the 5-yard line. I don't know that I've ever seen that called before in my life. I didn't. I mean, weren't we on the 4? Weren't we on the 4-yard line? Like, what? There's just ownage. Someone was just getting owned. Like, let them. That score should have been upheld. And I hate that his only touchdown grab. He also got called for a holding earlier in the year against Rice. But it's been receiver by committee behind Burks. And really up until just a couple of weeks ago, it was just everybody by committee. Burks was kind of, you know, dealing with some things, dealing with, I don't know what happened week 1, but then I think he's a little bit of maybe some injuries. He was still trying to get over some stuff. He was banged up. We were told for A&M, we weren't really positive if he was going to play, and he did. Or was that Texas? I'm getting all my weeks so confused. But it's been kind of next group of receivers up. No one's really stood out. I'll tell you who has surprised me in that I thought he would have a bigger role in the offense, without a doubt, is Crawford, the OU transfer. That guy does he even have a catch on the year? Like, I really thought, based on what we saw in both scrimmages, the second and third scrimmage, the third scrimmage being the red-white scrimmage, I really thought Crawford by now would stand out, and or at least contribute more, right? We have a $10 super chat, Mr. T-Dub. The YouTube censorship is getting awful on these super chats. We cannot suggest violence to the like button anymore. Oh, Mark Curl cries when watching You've Got Mail. Well, I think that's their general rule in their chat it's just the way it is. It is, you know, it's their guidelines. I don't like them any more than anybody else. I hear you. It's stupid, but it's been that way for a little bit. But I think it is getting worse, but not in a way that anybody here is in any danger. This channel's not in any danger. It shouldn't be anyways. DS Dog says run blocking has only been okay. They've got a coat of armor around Georgia. It's hard to find things that they're doing bad. So should be required to like the video before you can comment. Yeah, let's get some likes. I'm sure there's a setting somewhere where I could make that the case. I know you can set up subscriber-only views. I would never do that. But all Woods leaving did let us say hello, Tyson Morris. Woods could for sure stretch the field down the sidelines, and KJ can put it on a rope. We've seen someone else step up in the long game. Treylon Burks is not the only deep threat this year. I think we're going to see more. I think we're going to see more guys run fade and go routes down the field. We're not doing score predictions yet, James Arnold, but I do appreciate your pick. You have Arkansas 24-21. Now we're getting more. Yeah, save your scores for Friday, guys. Save them for Friday. The last third of the season, I expect to see a lot of Knox and Rogers at tight end. 18 points, says Manila United Methodist Church. Also, I think Woods is eating his sour apples and regretting transferring out. Here's the thing, though. Maybe he's regretting it because Arkansas right now looks better than Oklahoma, and they're the media darlings of college football right now. Like, that's why he's probably regretting it. He's not a part of that. In terms of production, he's he caught like 7 balls in the last game. Like, he's a sufficient part of that offense. And I wasn't sure if he was going to be or not. I mean, that is Oklahoma's bread and butter as wide receiver quarterbacks. That's their bread and butter. They have 4 or 5-star talent all over the receiver room. I wasn't so sure he was going to – I knew he would do something. He would record some stats. I wasn't expecting him to be this big of a part of their offense. And he's catching 5-6 balls a week. That's about what he did here. Now, they throw a little bit more, and I think, too, answering that question earlier about Woods and like kind of the next man up, they're not throwing the ball as much. They're not throwing deep as much, although KJ is – do you guys know he's did you see 70% north of balls thrown beyond 20 yards or 15, 20 yards? He's 70% thrown, but they also haven't thrown it as much this point in the season compared to last year. Obviously, that's because of Felipe Franks. He's not a true RPO quarterback. He's not a threat in that sense. So the offense was developed a little more around passing the ball a little bit, which is why I think Woods transferred out. I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's why Stepp left, because he's starting, maybe, I don't know if he knew this or not, or if he came in, if he stuck around and didn't really know how Kendall Briles was going to really gear this up for these receivers to block downfield. That's what they do. Hell, everybody blocks. KJ Jefferson blocks. Like, everyone blocks in this offense. I love it, man. I love it. That's how Keytron got that penalty 25 yards downfield on that KJ Jefferson touchdown run that was called back. Not all the way. He still got some of the yards, but they called the touchdown back. I think that's why maybe Stepp left. Like, look, I want my wideouts catching balls. That's how I get recognition, is my wideouts getting balls. I'm not saying he's out looking for recognition, but, I mean, let's be real. Like, I mean, a lot of his success is predicated on the idea of how good his receivers are. You don't draft receivers because they can block downfield. It is a part, don't get me wrong, every NFL coach, every NFL coordinator, high school, college, NFL, they all say the same. We love it when our wideouts block downfield, but they want guys that are catching balls, right, creating highlights. And that's not what this offense really is. And it also makes you wonder about the Woods transfer, about TQ Jackson transferring out, about Shamar Nash transferring out. Like, I get it. They're in an offense that's geared more towards the power run. I mean, it's a power run offense. Everybody blocks. They're not throwing the ball 6 or 7 times deep downfield. They did a year ago because the offense was kind of built that way because it had to be. We need to have Georgia fans drug tested for meth because they're so delusional. I'm going to be honest. Most most Georgia fans, I don't know that I've ever honestly had a bad interaction with any of them. I went to the Georgia game when they were here. Was that Petrino's second year? Dude, every one of them were like the nicest people. I get it. They don't represent the entire fan base. You have your fanatics in every fan base. DS Dogs, you could say Arkansas hasn't been tested. Is Texas good? I don't know. Texas A&M had a backup quarterback and poor offensive line play, and run defense isn't great. I mean, their run defense is getting better and they're getting healthier. I think you have to look at under a microscope. They returned one of their key defensive linemen, in fact, the week before against Arkansas. They're getting healthier, and that week they absolutely dominated against the run. I would argue Georgia hasn't seen an offense like or a team like Arkansas yet. I think Arkansas right now, when you talk about the eyeball test, looks like a more complete team on the field compared to Clemson. Because you're great for a period of time doesn't mean you're always great. I think we have this problem of of only seeing things through a particular lens, like Clemson's not great this year. I don't know if Clemson's better than Texas. I would argue probably not. Not now. Are they better than A&M? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe a little bit better, but I think this is Georgia's biggest test so far. Now, does that mean they don't beat the spread? I don't know. Again, we'll talk about that on Friday, but I think this is going to be a tough game for both. I think it's going to be a physical matchup. It feels like maybe how the A&M game, how we all thought it was going to go. And by the way, Arkansas second half against A&M did not have, let's just go ahead and say it together, their star player on offense the second half. Treylon Burks is a star player. KJ Jefferson right now is the star on this offense. In terms of what he means to the offense, obviously he's quarterback, but his play, what is he? He's the only quarterback in the SEC with 800 yards passing and 200 yards rushing. Like, come on, man. He didn't play the entire second half. They scored it almost at will in the first half against a really tough, big, fast, physical SEC, legit SEC defense. And then you go down the rabbit hole, well, who have they played, so on and so forth. And I agree with that, 110%. I agree with that. But they still pass the eyeball test in terms of what they offer and what their product is on the field on the defensive side of the ball. And Arkansas, with a healthy KJ Jefferson, a healthy Treylon Burks. Remember, they both got dinged up. KJ missed 75, 80% of the second half. Burks missed a little bit of time. That was towards the end, if I remember right. But you didn't have to me, it's like KJ and Treylon Burks have kind of switched roles this year. Like last year, you felt like everything was designed to find a way to get Treylon Burks involved. And I think that's still the case this year. But now you have the option of KJ Jefferson, who right now is in the spotlight. I would argue he's the star in this offense right now. It might change because Burks is without a doubt top 10, top 15 NFL draft material. I don't think Georgia has seen anything like this yet. Now, Georgia's defense, giving you a sneak peek for Friday's show, they're good. I don't have to tell you that. Most of you guys are smart enough to know that because you're in here. I agree. Arkansas will be a tough test as DS Dogs. He brings a different dynamic, exactly, than what we've seen in a long time. We would have beaten A&M by 30 if KJ stayed healthy. Yeah. I mean, they would have put up more. There's no doubt. I think they would have at least scored 7 or 14. Oh, there's my fantasy football update. Your team is terrible, Ty. You're 1-2 currently. Yeah, I lost Christian McCaffrey. Number one running back. Oh, man. I knew that was going to happen. I had the first pick in the draft, and that's who I went with. And I knew when I picked him, it's going to be it's going to happen again. I'm going to pick him. He's going to get hurt. He's a little injury prone. He did have a pretty big injury last year, but we were told that wouldn't affect him in 2021, and then he gets injured. Hornsby tossed touchdown pass by Kearns, didn't catch it. KJ destroyed A&M number one pass defense on only 7 completions. That's the other thing is like Arkansas, we've been told, and I thought maybe that's the case. I don't know. We weren't real sure about the passing offense, but we knew they haven't really needed to throw the ball. In the first half, they threw at will on Texas A&M. They looked really good. 4, 2, 3, and 8 the last 4 games. So that's 12. 12, 14, 17 catches. That's not bad. I mean, that's about where he was at. Maybe a few more catches at Arkansas in the first 4 games. Rest in peace, Ty's fantasy team. Yeah, it's not looking too good right now. I'm banged up. I also lost Josh Jacobs, he's dealing with a foot injury. Tight end's got to step up. Get your PPR updates for week 4. Yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm watching what's his name on ESPN. What's his name? He's been doing it for years. He does those videos. If you watch the fantasy, I watch. Like I think he's pretty accurate. Those guys do a good job. They're not always right. I do Pro Football Focus. I do all my Pro Football Focus stuff. KJ had like 15 passes for over 200 yards. That's a lot of yards. Yeah. All right. And this is for everybody in chat now, and for those of you who are watching after, what is the ceiling of this Arkansas Razorback team? Let's answer these Discord questions. Is Kelly Marie in chat? I don't know if she is or not. I'm curious if she is. Are 10 wins possible now? And really what I'm asking is, what is the ceiling of this 2021 Razorback football team this year? Kelly Marie says, talking about 10 wins, it is possible. Yes. Is it probable? Probably not. I still say 9-3 is the ceiling. Hope I'm wrong. Austin BF 7025. I want to say yes, but I'm trying to temper expectations so I don't get disappointed to such a phenomenal start. So is it possible? Yes. Do I see it turning around? Do I see it during the regular season? I don't think so. 9-3 would be great, though. Jay Bird 30 says 10-2 is very possible. How much? Let's see. Yes, 10-2 is very possible with how much this team has bought in. Anything can happen. We'll just have to see how Ole Miss does against Alabama this Saturday. What a matchup that's going to be. I'm really interested to see how that game goes down. To get a better understanding of how that game will go for us, as always, Ty, go Hogs, and beat the Dogs. Big Man Ross. See, I like these. Short, sweet. I would say anything's possible, but I feel the most comfortable with 8-4 and a good bowl win because anything can go wrong in college football. I mean, look at Chad Morris. Oh, come on now, Big Man Ross. 10 wins are possible, but unlikely. But the path to 10 starts with Georgia. After that, only Alabama is playing better. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think that's true. I don't think that if you lose to Georgia, you can't get to 10 wins. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. Even if it's a blowout, I'm not throwing 10 wins out. And again, we're gonna talk about that here in just a second. So count Bama and Georgia as a for sure L. I don't know if we get to 10 wins because of Ole Miss. Lane is out for blood because of how we did him last season, says Broham. Hoyt Allen. I'm going to go 8-4 this season. Vast improvement on both sides of the ball. High ceiling. I want to know what your ceiling is, though, Hoyt. Sean Savage says 11 wins. Ryan Browning says 9-3, 10-2. Okay, so all right. Paul Raymond says ceiling 11-1, floor 9-3. Those are really high expectations. Ben Strosky ceiling 11-2, floor 4-8. Okay. DS Dog says number one thing for me is Arkansas defense, well coached and disciplined. I think you're overlooking their offense a little bit, man. I really do. 10 wins keeps in playoff discussion as well, says Woo Pig. When you look at what's going on around you, look at the top 10, man. I don't think I don't know that if you get it keeps you in the conversation. I don't think it gets you there, but it does. One more 24 says, I think 10-2 ceiling. The only absolute losses I see are this weekend in Bama. The better question is, would anything less than 9 wins be a bummer? No. I think because I projected them at 8-4. Look, and we have to remember, I mean, this could just be first half of the season buzz. I mean, it could be, and maybe it all just kind of falls apart. We got to remember last year that did happen. I know people are like, whoa, pump the brakes, Ty. We're on cloud 9 here. Don't bring us down. That did happen a year ago. You looked damn good those first 4 or 5 games. You got cheated out of a win. Looked great. All of a sudden we're talking about, oh my God, are we winning? Are we going to do the unbelievable and get 500 or better on a 10-game schedule, a conference-only schedule? And it all kind of fell apart. Second half of the season, you got banged up. I don't think that happens. I think there's a reason why that happened a year ago, not having spring camp, not being able to develop the back end of your depth chart. You were young, inexperienced in several positions. You didn't have a true, like a quarterback that's built for this system. You had Felipe Franks running this offense. I think, look, they did what they needed to. When Knox disappeared, you had Woods, Devion Warren, and some other guys kind of step up. The tight ends were a bigger part of the offense a year ago than they are this year. Of course, this year they're dropping balls. So, yeah, if we win this weekend, and by the way, thank you, one more 24. Eagle, Lasuzzo Eagle, if we win this weekend, I think 11-1 is reachable. I'd argue if we can win out these next 3 games, I don't see how we could lose, to be honest. This is the toughest stretch of our schedule by a long shot. And, someone new. Bragoon. 10 is possible. However, I'm going to lean towards 8 and 9. If we beat Georgia, I'm going to completely accept 10 win. I'm going to completely accept 10 win. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. I just worry about the strength of schedule. We have a grinder. Just hope we pray to avoid that. Injuries is something. I mean, there's nothing you can do about those. Ceiling says Broham Todd, 8 to 9 wins. Floor is 7. I think that's pretty reasonable. If Matt Corral is looking better, by the way. I mean, he is. He looks better than he did a year ago. He's off to a great start. Should we have bought stock, guys? I think we should have. I think we missed out on that. He really does look good. But is Barry Odom his kryptonite? That's the question. Or LSU's defense. The guy threw 11 picks between two teams. And he looked completely lost against Arkansas and LSU. He just looked lost. The Georgia game tells us a lot about where this season goes. Let me explain to you why I think even if you get blown out to Georgia, and that Georgia is not, I don't think Georgia is an indicator of whether or not you win 10. I'll tell you why. And that was, let's see, was that 10 wins are possible to unlikely? Okay, that was Dante Marine that said that. I'll tell you why. Now, I know that it's a different team, but if you guys recall, busting out the old media guide here, I was actually at this game. Arkansas in 2006, okay, yeah, loaded backfield. Offense was on fire. Defense was a little suspect at times. Really good football team. But coming into the season, you were unranked. On September 2nd, 2006, Arkansas opened up. And again, I was at this game. I remember the fourth quarter. We wanted Mitch Mustain in. We wanted to see Damian Williams. We wanted to see the Springdale Five. Arkansas opened up against Southern Cal. And Georgia's not Southern Cal on offense. I'll agree to that. They lost this game 50-14. Arkansas we expected Darren McFadden to be really good. Remember, you're going into his sophomore year. Felix Jones was a sophomore. Peyton Hillis was kind of dealing with injuries. Darren McFadden, in fact, did not even play this game against USC, but still, or he did, but I think he was limited. You went on to win 10 straight games. You got smoked by USC. And by the way, Felix played pretty good other than fumbling the ball like 15 times. And in that stretch, now again, I know it's not fair to compare. I'm just saying that I wouldn't say because you get blown out by Georgia, consider the circumstances. Southern Cal was in Fayetteville. USC was in Fayetteville. This game was hyped. I think there were 72,000 people there. I mean, it was a lot. It was hyped. I think it was 70,000. It was loud. We set up all the way in the nosebleeds, and it was so loud I couldn't hear the guy, my friend Duke, right next to me. Couldn't hear him. It was so loud in that place. I couldn't imagine how loud that was That was the same game. Who was it that body slammed their return man? Oh man, if someone could look that up for me, was it Washington? Someone body slammed a USC kick return guy. But you went on. You beat Alabama in double overtime. You remember that catch, 24-23. It's double overtime. Went on the road against, at the time, number 2 Auburn on the road and won 27-10. You just keep winning. Go all the way down to Tennessee, who at the time, and this was in Fayetteville, they were number 13 in the country. Arkansas was number 11. You smacked them around 31-14. You won 10 straight games. It's there is all I'm saying. And that was a tough year in the SEC. That was a real tough year in the SEC. Alabama wasn't Alabama, but that was a good year in that conference. Of course, Arkansas went on in 2006, played Florida in the SEC championship, who was at the time top, I think, well, it says 4th, but I remember them being like number 2, number 3. And that was also the same year you lost to Wisconsin 14-17. Brett Bielema. That was his first bowl game, wasn't it? So all I'm saying is, with how good they're playing, there's a lot more hype around this team than there was that 2006 team. I'm just saying I wouldn't count them out. I would not count them out. And USC, that was a really stacked USC team. I'm very well aware of that. I know what they did that year. I wouldn't count them out. Even if you get blown out by Georgia, I would not count out. I'm not making the argument for 10 either, by the way, because I don't think they get to 10. But I like my 8-4, and it wouldn't shock me if they got to 10. That's all I'm saying. 76,000 actually for USC, says Marco Leone. Okay, it was. Well, are you sure? Because that would be the record. The record's 2010 Alabama, and that was like 76, 75, wasn't it? Duke. John Wayne? No, friend of mine, Duke. I remember that nightmare. Yeah, I was there. They were chanting Mitch's name, come in the fourth quarter. He came in, threw a pretty nice strike to Damian Williams. It was a great game. Oh, he says second all-time. Okay, it was the second all-time. All right. I remember it was somewhere in there. It was like the top 6, top 5. It was so loud. All the way up in almost the very, like our backs were almost against that top gate. USC's trash now. Scrolling up here. Mr. T-Dub says, if the playoffs were 12 teams, we'd definitely be in. Still a great chance. You'd be in the conversation if you finished 10-2, but you wouldn't make. I don't think you would. You can't, not with 2 losses. I mean, they'd have to be 2 really damn close losses. And then I don't know. Wilson Wood says we are 4 plays away from being a top 5 scoring defense in the nation. Big run for Georgia Southern, big run for A&M. Yeah, you're right. And trash points by Texas in the fourth. And by the way, 7 of those points were handed to them by the officials on a BS PI call on third down. I think Ladarius Bishop got called for that. They would have won the SEC if they had the culture of this team, says Jeremiah Granite. 2006 Arkansas team was so dysfunctional, and the locker room was split down the middle between that. Oh my God, don't even. Yeah, we had Ben Cleveland. We had Ben Cleveland on a show I used to do, on an interview, and it was fascinating. A lot of stuff said in that interview, and off before recording too. We thought it was we knew it was dysfunctional, but the level of dysfunction in that team went on to win 10 games. Yeah, you had the best backfield in the history of Arkansas football. I do agree with that. You do have to look at that. Can we get 7 picks again? That's the question. If we can, Ole Miss is done. You don't have to pick them off 7 times or 6 times. You just gotta find a way to contain their pass. You gotta figure out how to apply as much pressure as you can, and just disrupt what they're trying to do with Corral. We know they like to throw the ball, but Shelby Davis, if Arkansas gets the dub, where do you think they end up in the polls after taking down 15-7 and number 2? Top 3. Top 3. If Bama, now what happens between Bama and Ole Miss is huge. Like all of a sudden, and again, I'm not saying this happens, so please don't come at me with your hate mail and your hate comments. But if Ole Miss upsets Bama, they don't get catapulted to number 1. And if Arkansas beats number 2 Georgia with game day atmosphere, Georgia fans are rabid. You've heard Sam Pittman talk about their fans. They are rabid about their Bulldogs. You go into that place, what's the capacity? 85,000, I think, 84. You go in there, you beat the number 2 team. I don't care if it's by a BS touchdown at the end of the game, and everyone's not, they're critical. I don't know if that was really a score. Regardless, if you find a way to win by a point, you've got to catapult the number 1. I know people are like, their heads are exploding at the idea of that, but remember, Mississippi State was number 1 not that long ago with Dan Mullins. Is it 93,000? Damn. Okay, 93. I'm glad you're still in chat. I appreciate that. I thought it was 85. That's a lot of people. You would have to expect Arkansas to catapult to number 1. A lot of things have to happen, right? Obviously, Bama's got to go down against Ole Miss. Even if Bama barely wins and Arkansas wins, you're not going to take the number 1 spot. Bama has to lose, and you, without a doubt, obviously, you got to beat Georgia. 93. That is a lot of people. I agree with that. Arkansas is about to be. I did not say that. Woo pig Dustino. You have to beat Bama to be number 1. No, you don't. Not going into no, you do not. Not if they lose. No, you do not. If they lose and you beat number 2, now you have 2 top 10 wins. Actually, you have 2 top 8 wins, a number 2 win, and a top 25 win against a pretty red-hot Texas team right now. No, you get catapulted to number 1. And if you don't, we're getting out the pitchforks. You absolutely belong at number 1 if that happens, without a doubt. Come on, the media love them. Yeah, but a loss is a loss, and they have not played the schedule that Arkansas has. Well, they did play Miami, but Miami's I mean, the ACC. I don't know if they're as bad as the Big 12. Maybe they're worse. I don't know. We riot. We do riot. If there's no way you undefeated 5-0, a top 8 Arkansas team, I don't care what everyone else does in front of you. There's no way you get you're not number 1 if those things happen. Now, in order for that to happen, the moon, the stars, everything has to align, right? I've been thinking about that all morning. What would happen if we win? That's why I said 11-1 is the ceiling, says Paul Raymond. 92,746 to be exact, says DS. If we get number 1 in Pittman's second year, he gets a statue. Dude, I mean, make him – he's the AD in waiting after – well, I mean, he's older than Hunter, so I want Hunter here for a lifetime. I don't know what you do. Give him a statue. Make him the governor. Resume strength of schedule matters. Exactly. Nobody else at that point would have a resume like that. And winning – now, if this game were in Fayetteville, you could make the argument it was a home win, whatever, but – even then, I think the argument would have to be that they'd have to be ranked, right? Number 1. We need an act of God. Act of God. Yeah, all right. We're coming up. That was the fastest hour I've ever done on here. That was a good show. Having the hardest schedule in the NCAA has its upsides. Yeah, I agree with that, boy. Boy, you ain't wrong. Hey, I want to show you guys something. Cardinals are on a unbelievable win streak, 17 straight. I forgot I had this. I know we've got a few Cardinal fans, and I had this idea of doing like a Friday. This is going to sound so grade school of me, but I kind of wanted to do this like a Friday show and tell. It's Wednesday, I know, and it's not Razorback related, but have you guys show me like your favorite piece of merchandise and share it with me on Twitter or in our Discord. Check this out, though. I've got a look at that. Look at that. It's Cardinals. I got this in like 1994, 93. St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie Smith, Craig Wilson, some of these guys I don't remember. Obviously, you remember Ozzie doing backflips. Almost caught a foul ball of his, by the way. Chris Carpenter. Pedro Guerrero. I thought we had Ray Langford, Scott Terry, Tom Pagnozzi. That ought to ring a bell. Yeah, isn't this cool? Isn't that neat? Show and tell here on the PTN. It's pretty badass, isn't it? Todd Zeal, another Ozzie Smith card. I've had this for almost 30 years, man. Got this in St. Louis. I thought that was cool. I found it, and it's been sitting on my desk. I was like, boy, I know we got some Cardinal fans in chat. How about that win streak? Isn't that crazy? Hey, DS Dogs, were you at the Child's Please game? Arkansas 24, Georgia 14. Again, Bloodline. Fridays are our scores. Let's see. If Arkansas comes in and beats Georgia, I will tip my hat to you guys, and you deserve to be number 1. I don't know how you're not. If Bama loses, we know Bama, if they win, even if they win by, a BS call at the end of the game, they're going to stay number 1. That's how they stay number 1. Childs, please. All right, pour me another Kool-Aid, says James Arnold. Who's pouring Kool-Aid? I'm not saying that happens. I'm not saying that happens. I don't see Bama losing. Regardless of what happens against Arkansas and Georgia, I don't see Bama losing. I do not see I don't know. That'll be a crazy, crazy post-game show if Arkansas beats Georgia. So opposite, if we what happens if we lose to Georgia? Says Bragan Lloyd. That's a tough one. I mean, look, the odds are pretty high. The FPI, ESPN's FPI favors Georgia at like 90, almost 90%, I think. I don't know. I mean, obviously a lot's going to depend on the spread, and the spread right now, is it still 18.5? I think it's still at 18.5. Yeah, 18.5, over under at 48.5. I don't know. I guess if you beat the spread, maybe they stay in the top 10. If they're able to beat the spread, maybe. Probably drop back out, though, would be my guess. I don't know. If you get blown out, and look, that is very possible. If you get absolutely blown out, you're talking about a different, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, you're either that bought into how good Georgia is at that point, and I think you would have to be. If they blow Arkansas out, I'd want to vote them. Again, Ole Miss, Alabama matters. That game is huge. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of variables there. Who really knows? It depends on how much you lose by. Do you beat the spread? If not, how badly do you get beat? I think if you lose at all, even if it's a close game, if it's got to be a really close game, like a point, I think, in order to stay in the top 10. So I don't know. All right. Georgia has everything to lose. Hogs do. Okay. If Georgia beats us, then they go a natty. Well, they'll have to get through the SEC championship first. And we'll see who that is. Probably Georgia. Or Bama, excuse me. Okay. Who has more pressure, Arkansas or Georgia? I would say Georgia 100%. I think Georgia has all the pressure. I really do. Because for Arkansas, this is kind of icing on the cake at the moment, right? When you look at the first 4 games, not very many people had them doing what they're doing. You know, I think Pittman would probably even – I mean, of course, he's feeling the pressure as the head coach, but I think all the pressure's on Georgia. And like Kirby Smart said, I watched some of his when he talked to the media, this is not the same Arkansas team they faced a year ago. I think they're taking this game very serious. If you lose it, you could be out of talks for the playoffs, depending on what happens with the rest of the league. You've still got Florida hanging around in the SEC East. Maybe Kentucky. I don't know. I've just never really bought into Kentucky. You know, I know they're hyped because we have the passing game, and then it's like, yeah, but you're about to enter SEC play, and we're going to see what happens. If Arkansas wins, we will go to the college football playoffs. So many scenarios to discuss, right? I mean, we could sit here and talk all day about the different scenarios. If you beat Georgia but you lose to Bama, but then you go 11-1, Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, and you're sitting at 11-1, it obviously depends on what happens in the Big 12. Oklahoma does not look like a playoff team. Texas will not get in over Arkansas simply because of the head-to-head matchup that happened in Fayetteville. The Pac, like the only other conference to me that looks – obviously the Big Ten would have to be next up, right, as behind the SEC in terms of conference power and how much legitimacy you want to give teams out of those conferences. But it's like anyone else that's 11-1 with this strength of schedule, do they get in over Arkansas? Like if anyone else is 11-1, now of course you've still got undefeated teams to deal with. You've got Notre Dame hanging around. A lot of different things have to play out. I'm not ruling anything out right now. I'm just not. I've learned my lesson. Never in a million years. If I'd lived 100 lifetimes, I would not have picked Arkansas to start the season out 4-0. I did have them 8-4 at the beginning of the year. I did week to week. I had them beating both Texas and Texas A&M, but I wasn't so sure that would be good enough to put them in the top 10. You know, considering who A&M and Texas had played up into to that point. I would not in a million years would I had them, again, talking about preseason, right? Obviously, week to week, I had them 4-0 because, as we get more of a larger sample size, we get a better idea of who you're matched up with and what you're dealing with. But at the beginning of the year, I said 8-4, but they're going to lose. I had them coin flip, lost to Texas A&M, and here we are, 4-0. We'll talk again. We're gonna do the Georgia breakdown on Friday. I'll tell you what I think. Who do I pick to win? Do I have Arkansas in an upset? Do I have Georgia slamming Arkansas to the turf and running it up? I don't know. If Ole Miss wins and Arkansas wins, a volcano will explode in Hawaii. 3 teams from SEC in playoffs. Yeah, and I still think Georgia's the best team in the East. Without a doubt, I think they're the best team in the East. But They would have to lose again. They'd have to lose to Bama. A lot of things have to happen. So, all right, I'm going to go eat lunch. I'm hungry. I appreciate you guys. Remember to like, share. Please like and share. Those are 2 huge things. Subscribe if you haven't already. I've had some creepers come out. They're coming out. Ty, I've been creeping. Shout out to you. I appreciate you guys, Patreon supporters, sponsors, everybody. I'm excited about Friday's show. Again, 11 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We do post-game shows as well for those of you who are new. Maybe I still will do a Friday show and tell. But you see my merch back there. Like, that's not all of it, but you see some of it. I've got that helmet that was donated to me by Arizona Tim, or as I call him, Tim from Arizona. That was awesome. That's probably one of the coolest things. That's one of the coolest things I've ever been gifted. My dad got me the panoramic Donald W. Reynolds Stadium picture there in a really nice frame. We've got some other stuff over here you can't really see, but maybe we'll do show and tell, and you guys could tag me or post on Discord your favorite Hog merch on Friday, not today. All right? I'm excited. Again, 11 a.m. Friday, and I'll give you my score, my prediction, tell you what happens. We'll break Georgia down and discuss. So, yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to point this out. Is it still in my the best tweet that I saw last weekend? We're going to end it on this. This is the best tweet right there. Right there. Look at that. Arkansas has the best athletic department in America right now. Change my mind. We'll just have that. Should we just leave it there and that's how we close the show out? I can't. I got to do my Patreon. But there it is. That's the best. That's the best tweet. Timothy Mosby, you guys go give him a shout out. Say, hey, Ty thought this was the best thing he saw last weekend. That's awesome. And it's true. You don't have to look far. Hunter Yurchak has this program rolling across the board. Even in women's sports, men's sports, track. Their water polo team, I don't know. They won a championship in Europe, I bet. I don't know. I just fling something out there. Curling. We have the best curling team this side of the Mississippi. All right, Woo Pig. I'll see you guys on Friday.